Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 on Arnhem Checkpoint. Our heroes today are going to be Mr. Gio L'Uomo Focaccina from the I-SeALS clan, who am I just going to be calling Gio, playing as the OKW forces in the blue, and his opponent is going to be Zero, playing as the Soviet army in the red. So yeah, Gio goes ahead and built himself a Volksgrenadier squad, currently out on the field, sending over to the right-hand side, Storm Pios as well, and gets, as you would expect most OKW players to do, a Kubelwagen, which will go and cap stuff on the left-hand side, as it is much faster to move around than the infantry. For Zero, we have conscripts and surprise, more conscripts. Nothing out of the ordinary there. We shall see how it turns out. For now, though, we do see the Kubelwagen running into the conscripts. Unfortunately, there for the Kubelwagen, it no longer has the capability of suppression, so it will be taking quite a bit of punishment there, as it cannot force the conscripts into a defensive stance and even get them pinned down. It does manage to capture the point, however, and should be able to get itself out of there relatively easily. Thing is, Gio has left it there for a little bit, and it has taken more than half damage. We'll be moving to where the Storm Pios are, so they can quickly get the repairs going on it, and they should. They should. There you go. There you go. Get that car back in working order. And on the right-hand side, we do see the Volksgrenadier. She's laying down some sandbags, because why wouldn't you lay down some sandbags, right? Conscripts up on the right-hand side, not capping that munitions point, deciding to abandon it, and are going to be going down, I suppose, to this cutoff point. And the Storm Pios, with the help of the Kubelwagen, pushing up to the north on the left-hand side, getting those conscripts out of there and forcing the combat engineers to retreat as well, as they would have gotten themselves torn apart. Kubelwagen and Storm Pios still trying to work together, the Kubelwagen not wanting to stay put and get repaired, as the Storm Pios are going to be laying down some shoe mines to hopefully meet the shoes of the Soviets. Back at base, we do see Zero still pumping out those conscripts. 4 conscripts in total now out on the field. I can only assume that is going to be it. He's going to be teching after that, but maybe not. Maybe he's going for a bigger investment there. Combat engineers laying down tier 2. We see the Kubelwagen over on the right-hand side getting pushed away by the conscripts. Barely making it out of there alive with a sliver of health left. Staying out there on the field a little bit too risky there. The conscripts can pop out as they're doing from this side and potentially try and get a snipe going on the Kubelwagen. Gio, though, realizes that in time. Maybe not. Oof. Playing it very fast and loose with that Kubelwagen. But he is going over to the left-hand side. The Storm Pios are up there on the fuel point, so it's not as easy, but well, we'll see how it goes. Anyways, Volksgrenadiers and conscripts engaging close range on the right-hand side. And, well, the Volksgrenadiers are going to lose that engagement since the conscripts were already set up in the cover. However, with the support of a second Volksgrenadier squad, the engagement quickly turns, and the conscripts ura away with only 3 men left. They are going to make them their way back into the center square, popping inside a house, and we're going to try to delay as much as they can. More conscripts flooding into that direction. They're going to try and go for some cover. Going to be getting some cover by the wall. And we also have a flanking conscript squad inside the church, although that is a little bit preoccupied with other Volksgrenadiers in the zone. So 3 Volks against 4 conscripts. Tier 2 having gone down for Mr. Zero. And we see the Maxim machine gun being produced, coming onto the field relatively quickly. Gio has selected his doctrine, and that is the Scavenge Doctrine, which is a very useful doctrine. I mean, generally speaking, you know, in most situations. It's very popular, but very useful, especially in this map, in this center square, because of the sheer amount of buildings. Utilizing those infiltration grenades is a very, very easy way to flush out any garrison squads, and even bring down houses if necessary, so not a bad choice, especially because, you know, they're a lot cheaper than regular grenades. Back at base, we do see the battle group headquarters down for Gio. Is he simply using it to get the ability to heal up? No, he is not. Of course he's not. He's going to be getting himself the lay, the infantry support gun. Storm piles up in the north. The Kubel wagon did get repaired at one point, currently capping the left-hand side of the map. And these storm piles do lay into the sandbags, destroying the unbuilt set. Conscripts and Volk Grenadiers, although really the conscripts are the only ones engaging right now, as they apparently have line of sight on these Volks, and the Volks don't, since they were not returning fire. Gonna be moving back. Kubelwagen positioning itself on the flank. Gonna be getting some good shots there on that conscript squad. Conscript squad will be... I mean, they still have the benefit there of the light cover, but, you know, taking more damage than they usually would. As the Volkskrans inside just hold their position. Infantry support gun now on the field for Mr. Geo. Gonna be probably bombarding over here on the right-hand side. Kubelwagen still getting those flanking shots. The Volksgrenadiers inside the house down to 2 men. These Volkskrans could do with moving themselves in the front. Zero does not have... I mean, not Zero. Geo does not have access to the infiltration grenades, not just yet, as he does need 3 command points to be able to utilize those. Ends up throwing an incendiary grenade there to clear the zone. One of the conscript squads was forced away. The other 2 just move out of the way. And we also see Jaeger light infantry getting popped on the field, popping inside that house. Popping out as the flamethrower burst goes off on it. Down to 1 man. Could actually pick up the kill on that thing. Although with the shot of the infantry support gun, it kind of maybe interrupted and distracted the Jaeger light infantry. But the combat engineer squad barely makes it out of there and gets out alive. We do see a mine got hit over here on the left-hand side. We saw the shoe mine go down earlier, and the conscripts are now crawling somewhere. I mean, they're not going to get anywhere, but there they go. As the remaining members of the squad look on in helplessness as Volksgrenadiers start shooting at them and they move out of the way. Kubelwagen going to get some quick repairs here. Back to working order. And the infantry support gun currently set up in the center. Nobody currently garrisoned in the center, which is kind of surprising, but... well, it happens. And on the left-hand side, we hear conscripts and the Volksgrenadiers engaging at some range. The Volksgrenadiers not stopping to engage the conscript squad, as we have a Maxim machine gun and a second set of conscripts moving around to engage them. They run themselves into some heavy cover to be able to prolong the engagement. Any support coming in this direction? Not really. We have another Volksgren squad moving in that direction, but I don't think it's going to get there fast enough to have an impact in that fight. We do hear the Maxim machine gun opening up. They are in heavy cover, so they'll be able to withstand that for a while. These Volksgrens do come up to the engagement and getting a flank going on that conscript squad. However, the Maxim machine gun can quickly turn itself around and face them. The Volksgrens over here by the truck have stopped firing, but have taken some cover. Kubelwagen on the right-hand side engaging the conscripts. The conscripts putting themselves in a bad position here, forced to retreat. Jaeger light infantry shooting, Volksgrenadiers shooting, Kubelwagen shooting, and everybody makes them die. But they stay alive as they retreat. Maxim machine gun moving up, manages to get some good angles going on that Volksgren squad. Volksgren squad is suppressed. Infantry support gun, though, getting some good shots there on the Maxim machine gun. The Volksgrenadiers over here could disengage from, or, well, not disengage, but move themselves from the truck and try and get an angle there on the Maxim machine gun. However, too little too late, the Volksgrenadiers were forced to retreat, as, of course, a flamethrower squad came on top of them, and they would have, well, gotten cooked. Maxim machine gun turning itself around, getting an angle going on the Volksgrens. The Volksgrens trying to get themselves into the fuel, getting suppressed and quickly retreating as, well, that's about it. More shots continue to fly from the center. We see the storm piles moving up and cutting off the right-hand side resources, which is only really the munitions for Zero. Storm Pioneers managing to catch a Soviet mortar out of position, bringing it down to 3 men, bringing it down to 2. We'll be able to clear it out, it seems like. But I don't think they'll... oh, no, it actually makes it out of there. Wow. Very lucky there for Zero. Even if he had lost it there, though, I don't think that Geo would have been able to steal it. He might have been able to grab it. But considering the amount of conscripts, just look at that. Barreling down on that position, it would have been a very easy kill on that. More Jaeger light infantry popping. These guys pop on the church, pop out of the church. They get themselves flamed, and they're going to sprint away. The combat engineers, though, are in a bit of a tough spot here. Infantry support gun in front of them will be, you know, beginning to shoot. Grenades flying in this direction, getting some good hits across the board. The conscript squad down to 3 men, but ultimately too many conscripts and everybody's forced to retreat, including the storm pyos, which are brought down to 1 man. Combat engineers do pop out of the church. They managed to lay down a mine on the backside of the church. Does Geo know about that? We shall see. Infantry support gun taking some shots at range. The Jaegers managing to execute the retreating units. Combat engineer squad barely makes it out of there, but it has acquired veterancy too now, so, you know, its ability to survive has been paying off. Panzer headquarters going down for Geo. Interesting positioning on it. Does cover the cutoff point on the right-hand side. Basically gives defender advantage to the fuel, and also covers this center point here, so it's interesting. Shot blocked by that. You know, it's an okay position. It's quite out there, though. Quite exposed by itself. But, you know, from up here, it's a good angle to attack it from. With 18 guns, maybe, but we'll see. So infantry support gun taking some shots into the house in the center. We see a maximum machine gun inside there, so it will be bombarded quite easily. Conscripts pushing forward, trying to get themselves on top of that infantry support gun. However, they pop into the church, which is going to be probably a better decision. Volksgrenadiers over on the left-hand side engaging these conscripts. Conscripts going to be losing. Center engagement, the Volksgrenadiers and Jaeger Light Infantry are going to try to engage the conscripts as the infantry support gun continues to lay into that house up in the north. And the conscripts are quickly forced to evacuate. However, the point is there. Storm Pyos are back at the base. They do have sweepers, so they just need to go and clear that out. Oh, it looks like he didn't notice. Volksgrenadiers are going to run straight into it. Oh, the entire squad goes down. Geo losing a Volksgrenadier squad with the Shrek, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I was, though. I see actually 5 rifles for Car 98, so never mind. I guess it wasn't that, but still, losing an entire squad to a mine, that is a money mine there for Geo. I mean, not for Geo, for Zero. So, yeah, that actually puts him in great position. 42 to 48 now as far as the pop cap goes. Not that big a difference, but it hurts. And as far as unit count goes, I mean, obviously Geo is with a far sparser unit count there than he would probably like. Combat engineers and Volks engaging on the left-hand side. Volksgrenadier squad managing to... Oh, almost gets itself killed as the members of the mortar squad actually end up shooting at the one guy. Conscripts trying to get the finishing blow on that one Volksgrenadier left, but they do not manage to complete it. However, the weapon itself is still there, still alive, so the conscripts from Zero will be rushing forward and potentially recovering it. No, actually, there's just there you go. Okay. Apparently, we're just rushing a little bit further forward. Infantry support gun backing off and trying to be in a better position to be covered. Hasn't really done much though. Hasn't actually gotten any kills. 1. Okay. The Jaeger Light Infantry on the right-hand side, just doing what they can. More Jaeger Light Infantry popping out. Maxim machine guns currently 2 at a time, focusing on that Jaeger Light Infantry squad. These guys can actually toggle off their assault rifle, and they do, so they're going to get themselves right on top of that Maxim machine gun clump. Can they actually clear anything out? No, they were focusing on the bigger squad, so the 3-man squad will be able to make it out of there alive. Jaeger Light Infantry do pick up some good kills on that conscript squad, down to 2 men, but again, the entire squad will make it out of there alive. Storm Pyos setting themselves up into some heavy cover by the sandbags. However, with the flamethrower there of the combat engineers, that sandbags are going to be their demise. The Jaeger Light Infantry backing off just to capture some points, so it's not going to help out. And the conscripts over here on the right-hand side trying to make their way out of the field as they did get stopped dead in their tracks by the Panzer headquarters. Conscripts, combat engineers, and such, all moving on the left-hand side. Zero has selected his own doctrine, and that is the counterattack tactics. Interesting doctrine. We haven't seen it in a while, but it does have access to the very cool KV-1 heavy tank. Pretty well-rounded kind of tank. Not the best at anything specifically, but, you know, kind of a jack of all trades, right? A decent gun, decent amount of armor. It's a heavy tank, so it's able to take a decent amount of punishment and properly support it. It can actually allow like AT guns to do severe damage to enemy vehicles. So anyways, Jaeger light infantry managing to retreat. Incendiary grenade getting popped on top of a conscript squad. Forces it to retreat. The Volksgrenadiers pop out of the house as they were getting assaulted by the flamethrowers. That combat engineer squad, although there's two, right? Yeah, one of them is Veterans 3, but those combat engineer flamethrowers, yeah, over here it is, have been doing a lot of work for Zero. The fact that they've stayed alive several times on the retreat with one man, it's been counting. We do see the Flak Panzer Ostwind on the field for Zero. He does have an AT gun on the field, however, although it seems as though that AT gun is currently on the right-hand side, if I'm not mistaken. Conscripts do push forward, combat engineers, everybody pushes forward, but then realizes, oh wait, that has a big gun that can kill us very quickly. Let's not stand in front of it. Sucky thing about the way that the targeting works in CoH2, hitting the wall instead of hitting the house where it could actually shoot at the second story windows and potentially, you know, at least kill the men that are garrisoning on top. But, no, the tank decides to just shoot straight into the ground and hit the wall in front of it. So AT gun for Zero, moving back. Maxim machine gun moving around to support it. The Flak Panzer is moving over to the right-hand side. Yeah. Sorry, but even though the Ostwind hit the field and forced everything back, we currently see that Geo doesn't have anything on the field. Everything is currently back at base. We barely see his troops now moving out onto the field. So while he did have an opportunity here where the entire map was vacated, I mean, that opportunity has passed because everybody's moving back out now. We do see some Jaegers and storm piles on the left. More Jaegers on the right, running into some conscripts. Volksgrenadiers moving through the center, going to be running into the combat engineers. Mines get laid down all over the place. Jaeger light infantry taking some shots at range. The AT gun moving over to the left-hand side as they do not know where the Ostwind is. Seeing where it is now, going to be moving it back. We do see the mortar getting hit here. The infantry support gun finally getting some shots inside. And the Jaeger light infantry on the left-hand side trying to stop the approaching conscripts. The Maxim machine gun, though, is going to be keeping it in its place. Ostwind moving over to the center of the map as the AT gun moves up to try and maybe target it. Unable to do so. We do have a lot of infantry on the field there for Geo. It's just getting caught out of position there by the Maxim machine gun. Infantry support gun, though, seemingly able to get some good hits in there, forcing it to retreat. And the Ostwind in the center, trying to clear out what they can. We do see that the mortar got cleared out there for Zero. Once again left on the field. KB1 now on the field for Zero. That's very, very bad for Geo, actually. He doesn't have much that can combat it. He has 2 Shreks equipped currently on the Volksgrenadiers, which will do some damage. They are capable of penetrating that armor. But there's also a lot of Maxim machine guns and infantry in the way, so those Shreks can't really easily get in a position to kill that KB1. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that KB1's actually going to be around for a while. Also, when moving up to the left-hand side, we see the KB1 moving up. Its main gun more than capable of penetrating that armor. And the Ostwind going to have a very difficult time, if at all possible, to penetrate that armor. If it can get shots on the rear, then yeah, but hitting that frontal armor, it seems like it's going to be very, very unlikely that penetrations go through. Volksgrenadiers popping inside the house, the Shreks flying. Those are the ones that are really doing the damage there to that KB1, even though, well, look at its health. You can't really call that damage, right? It's just battle scars, pretty much. Volksgrenadiers moving up. KB1 going to be taking a shot at them. Misses completely. Shrek flies, gets another bit of a bounce in the front, but the damage starts to stack up. Oof. Yeah, that I don't know what it was thinking. So the KB1 manages to get a good shot going. AT gun. I'm not sure who actually did it, but I mean, basically the Ostwind got its main gun destroyed. Shots flying from the Shreks. Again, they're able to do damage to the KB1. The KB1, a very beefy tank, able to take that damage in strides and not really worrying too much about getting itself killed. Still has more than half health at this point. Volksgrenadiers backing off. Where are they? There's one here. Oh, the other one is inside the house. Down to 2 men, and again, they barely make it out. Rocket and Warfare, though, is on the field for Mr. Geo. Does get a good shot on the KV-1. The KV-1 now at this point definitely needs some repairs, lest it risk itself getting accidentally killed. Still, though, nothing on the field right now for Geo that can actually go for a killing blow on it. The Ostwind is now back online. With the support of the AT gun, the Ostwind can't really even hope to maybe go for a strafing run on it and get some shots on the rear and maybe stack up damage that way. Ostwind laying into the church as the conscripts popped inside. Now they pop outside. Church really not taking too much damage to the flak gun. And inside do take some damage, but there we go. Volks Grenadiers over on this side could potentially take out the Maxim machine gun. Maxim machine gun down to one man. Shots continue to fly, but it looks like it's barely going to make it out of there. Shrek's going to be flying. KV-8 going to be getting hit. And we have Jaeger light infantry and such trying to move up to support, but there's just so many things on the left-hand side here for Zero that, well, Geo can't really penetrate unless he pushes heavily. And the thing is that those Maxim machine guns are just stopping his infantry in its tracks. Su-76 getting brought down there for Zero as he does build his tier 3. A good choice. Basically another ability to, you know, an AT gun, a bit of a more mobile AT gun. However, you know, the artillery barrage pretty good at clearing out those buildings. Does have access to artillery barrage with the AT gun, which you could employ right here. But it doesn't cost you anything with the Su-76, so that's the benefit there. Ostwind pushing straight into the center. Not a bad choice. That's gonna give it a decent angle. However, the Su-76 is brought up now and could potentially get a hit in on the Ostwind. Not gonna be too damaging though, even if it hits, but it can put it now in a position where a anti-tank grenade could go off and get it snared essentially. So the KV-1 Maxim machine gun pushing over on the left-hand side. Volks Grenadiers having to pop out of the church as the flamethrowers on the combat engineers will hurt them and hurt them severely. The Volks Grenadiers pop into the church. Shots fly from the tower. Down to 2 men on that combat engineer squad. However, the Jaeger light infantry unable to stay there and finish the job as conscripts were shooting at them in the back. AT gun does move up, trying to see what it can do. What it can do is essentially throw a barrage into that church. Su-76 a little bit further up north behind the buildings. A bit of a stalemate kind of here in the center. Oof, Su-76 getting a good shot there on the Ostwind. AT gun managing to get another good angle. Shots go by. And the Ostwind is now down to about 25% strength, so it can't really do much. It's gonna need to get some repairs going. Do have the Storm Pyro still left on the field. No mechanized regiment headquarters, so no automated repairs, which is gonna suck there for Geo, but he can potentially do something about that. Flak gun on the Panzer headquarters, getting some good damage going there on the Su-76. KV-1 now being brought up here. The KV-1 really able to do whatever the hell it wants. Rocket and Warfare does turn itself around, but it is not in range of that KV-1. KV-1 laying into the Panzer headquarters itself might be able to clear it out. However, it looks like he disengages for the meantime, and it will be getting repaired. Soviet mortar in the center of the map. We do see a 105mm barrage being called in right in the center, but it looks like everything manages to escape. Oof, right in time. Not a second too early there. And manages to clear out most there. Grenades flying at the Maxim machine gun. Forcing it to retreat rather quickly. Artillery barrage flying at the Panzer headquarters. The Storm Pyros are still repairing. So the a well-placed hit could actually take out the entire squad, but so far they're being lucky. Panther though now on the field for Geo. That's a good option. Very good against the KV-8 and the Su-76. Su-76 actually has a very tough time penetrating that frontal armor of the Panther. AT gun really being the big threat there. Ooh, a nice shot there by the Su-76, manages to score a side hit. But with that, the Panther manages to delete the Su-76 from the current engagement. However, the placement of the mine, that was a very, very well placed mine there by Zero. We saw it being laid down a while ago. Gets a critical hit on the engine of the Panther, and down goes the Panther, which is a very big turn there for Zero. I mean, yeah, that's unfortunate. What died right there? Looks like a combat engineer squad. But yeah, I mean, killing the Su-76 at the very least is, you know, small mercies, but losing the Panther, basically trading a Panther for an Su-76, that is never going to be worth it. So Zero feeling rather comfortable here as his KV-1 still on the field. Can you actually field more than one with the Doctrine, or is it just one? Doesn't say anything about only one, because I do remember that the heavy tank Collins were, I mean, everybody remembers, but, you know, you're restricted to one. For example, one IS-2, one ISU, one Tiger, you know, things like that. But does the KV-1 actually count in that? Or is it quote-unquote light enough that it's, you know, spammable? Because the other one, you can get a second one if you want it, because, I mean, it is a medium tank. Not too sure. Considering the wording there, it doesn't say anything about limit of one, so he might actually be able to get more if he wanted to. However, though, Zero does get himself a T-70, which is an excellent choice. Although the Osman can really have its way with it. It can't kill it very quickly as far as... I mean, it can kill it quickly, but not very quickly as far as a single shot goes. So the T-70, you know, it's in a decent position to be able to just simply move around. Conscript squad on the left-hand side going to be killed off here, down to one man. In very bad spot. Both Grenadiers take it out, so Zero, bit of a lapse in concentration there, managing to get himself one of his veteran C3 squads, apparently the only one he had at that point. Oh no, the veteran C3 combat engineers are the ones that died down there. That sucks. So yeah, basically losing his veterancy. We do see Obra Soldatens now on the field for Mr. Gio, getting the LMG equipped, so those will be much better equipped to fight against the Soviets, and the Storm Pios do need to get some repairs going on both the Ostwind and the Schwerpanzer headquarters if they don't want to lose it, because it's down to about half health. Big push on the left-hand side. We see a lot of conscripts, AT gun, and a T-70 moving over to try and capture territory. Victory points are 419 to 171. Gio, while he is... I mean, he's stabilized pretty much, but he is currently in the lead, so even though he has suffered more losses as far as the, you know, being on the worst end of trading, still doing rather well. Over to Soldaten, trying to get there on those conscripts. We do have the Volkskrans there with the grenade readily available, but decidingly not wanting to throw it. Back at the Warfare taking some shots at range there as the T-70 moves forward. However, the conscripts are now moving on top of it, and it should retreat quickly, otherwise that's going to be a free weapon there for Zero. And it does retreat, so it'll make it out of there. Jaeger light infantry on the right-hand side trying to run away from a KV-1. The KV-1 trying to chase it down. Getting a good hit there, not getting any kills, but it does a decent amount of splash damage and lowers the health. Ostwind now at full strength. Jaeger light infantry on the right-hand side retreating. Rocket and Warfare on the left-hand side getting cleared out. The Ostwind going to be pushing forward. However, there is the AT gun right there. We also have a lot of infantry moving around. So the damage does go down on the T-70. However, the AT gun turns itself around expecting a circle strafe. And the Ostwind manages to run away to live to fight another day. Rocket and Warfare, again, left there on the field. It looks like the conscripts are going to be going for the steal. So that is, again, putting Zero in an even better position. Infantry support gun, though, taking some good shots there. Almost hitting the stolen weapon. Shock troops down to 2 men. Almost got taken out. Managing to capture the point and then retreating. And in the center, the Storm Pio is going to be retreating again, as we do still have this damage to about half health. So yeah, at this point, I mean, Geo is in a very bad spot. 58 to 75. I mean, that's not going to help him in any way. We do see that instead of going for another Panther, he is going for the Jagdpanzer. Again, a very good option against those heavy tanks. Very powerful gun. But of course, it does have the limitation that it doesn't really have a turret. It just has a forward-facing gun. Stolen Rocket and Warfare KV-1, and even the AT gun moving into position. Gets a shot going on the KV-1. I mean, on the Ostwind. The Ostwind down to about half health. Rocket and Rocket and Warfers and Shreks managing to do quite a bit of work here against the KV-1. The KV-1 stopping there in the center. Can the Shrek get it? Oh, well, it does get a hit, but it still has a sliver of health left, so it looks like it's going to be able to make it out of there, which is unfortunate there for Geo. Mortar, AT gun, conscripts, all of them engaging in the center. The Rocket and Warfare being brought up, but be forced to retreat, and we do see a light artillery barrage apparently over on the right-hand side. Getting a barrage going on something. Looks like it may have been a Maxim machine gun, but nothing actually gets killed, so unfortunate there for Geo. Ostwind did move up, try to get some shots going on the conscripts. However, the AT gun is there to support it, so it is forced to back off, and the Jagdpanzer is now on the field, but now it doesn't have anything to shoot at. So there you go. You can have more than one KV-1, even though they said only one heavy tank. But again, this is more like a main battle tank kind of. So yeah, second KV-1 on the field. Again, there's the Jagdpanzer, so that could do a lot of work. We'll see how it pans out for Geo. Victory points 355 to 171, so still in the lead for Geo. So even though the map kind of tells a different tale, he kind of has a little bit of time. You know, he just needs to stabilize. 71 to 82. I mean, it's not that big of a difference of army value, so he just needs to gather his wits about him. Recon overflight getting called in right on top of, well, essentially the staging area for Geo. And we see the plane getting shot down as, of course, it got called in on top of a flak gun from the Juarez headquarters. So it got a little bit of recon, but not, you know, perpetual recon, which was probably what Geo would have liked to have, right? So a bit of a lull here in the fight, as we do see Zero pushing forward with everything, kind of staging and setting up in a bit of a defensible position. Capturing of the fuel point on the right-hand side by Jaeger Light Infantry. Capture of the victory point on the left-hand side by more Jaeger Light Infantry. And the Ostwind moving around. The infantry support gun still back here. 17 kills so far, better than 2 acquired. Actually, it's been doing rather well. Shots flying over to the right-hand side as we see shock troops pushing forward, getting on top of that Jaeger Light Infantry. Shots from the Ostwind, getting good hits there. Might actually be taking out the shock troops, but it looks like, no, it looks like it's focusing right now on the Maxim. So the shock troop squad is able to run away freely without much of an opposition. KV-1 and T-70 currently saying, get the hell out of my point. And the T-1 can actually be turned over. Actually, the KV-1 can also do it too, but he doesn't have the veterancy. Still, though, he can actually turn and cap if he wanted to, so that's kind of cool. Jaeger Light Infantry pushing up onto the point, center point. The Ostwind still getting some shots. They're trying to push back the infantry. Behind him, the Jagdpanzer trying to make itself useful. The AT gun does take a shot there from the infantry support gun, losing one of its members. T-70 moving up, gets shot by the Shrek. Going to be returning fire there and doing what it can. Shots flying from the KV-1. We do have the Jagdpanzer. Oh, there it is. The Jagdpanzer moves up, takes a shot, misses on the T-70, which is unfortunate. And it now has to back off. On the side of it, we do have the KV-1, which was unable to penetrate that armor. And Geo throws a what, which Maybe I'm assuming because the shot that missed the T-70. Maybe that's what he's outraged about. 63 to 87. The gap in PopCap is spreading a little bit further than Geo would probably want. His Volksgrenadier squad did get murdered there in the center, which is unfortunate. Maybe he's just talking about that. The KB1 taking out the squad, perhaps. I'm assuming that's probably more what he's referring to. More Jaeger light infantry getting called in, basically to be able to replace all those losses. Conscripts and veterans C3 engaging a Jaeger light infantry squad inside that shack. Right hand side, we hear the Maxi machine gun pushing forward by itself, right on top of that Ostwind. Gonna get itself cleared there. Not exactly sure what it was trying to accomplish. I mean, it does allow the Ostwind to get hit there for a little bit, but that's basically gifting a Maxi machine gun to Geo, which you don't kind of want to do. Storm Pilot squad getting caught way out of position there by the T-70 and the KV-1. Can they finish him off? Looks like no. Shots flying from the Yak Panzer, actually managing to get a good hit there on the KV-1. However, the AT gun sets itself up right in front of him. No. Oh, yeah, this guy's dead. That's unfortunate there for Geo. The pathing does not help him out whatsoever, as his vehicle basically tries to go forward and turn itself around rather than just hitting reverse right away. It is an unfortunate side effect of the way the pathing works, and unless you specifically tell it to go in reverse, which is a, it's a good option that you have now in this game. You never had reversing CoH2, but yeah, that probably means good game. Actually, Geo throws in the GG at this point, losing his Ostwind over on the right hand side, but realizing that his defenses had been breached, he had been overrun. And he didn't really have much that he could do about that. The Yak Panzer currently moving to the right-hand side. Everything on top, just look at the map in there. So you can actually see it, so. Good there for Geo, just calling it quits. So anyways, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.